I don't think.
Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Good evening, everyone. We are getting ready here at drroto.com to get into week 13 DFS. I have with me Justin from Just DFS, and we are any given entry. We are going to specialize on some single entry, smaller format tournaments. Justin, our sheet last week had every single player on it that was in the Millie Maker lineup. Every single one.
Yeah, it did. It was good to. I had two rough weeks. I feel like it was good to have that. I feel like I've done some lineup rewinds each week, especially earlier in the year, and it's super close if you can manage to click the right buttons out of those 18 to 20 players or so. You can have a real shot almost every week, especially last week.
Yeah, it was a great week. Of course, neither you or I put those buttons together, but it was a profitable week nonetheless.
Yeah, I know you did a 150 run for me and sent me the CSV, and I never got around to uploading the lineup. So not sure what would have unfolded there, but the past is the past, I guess.
Yeah, we'll give it another go this time, man. We got this. Let's see. I thought I had a message from Mr. Trevor, but it wasn't. It was from Doc. He told me to play Bam over Trey Tucker. What do you think about that?
I've been keeping up with it, not so much for DFS purposes, but for one of my season-long leagues, the Michael Carter Bam scenario. I mean, it looks like Bam's going to play. Carter's been getting the majority. Who knows what's going to happen? There's some curse on that backfield, I think, from Connor to where we are today. So I'll probably stay away from it DFS wise, at least.
Probably. I was a little sad, to be honest. I think it's going to turn out that Bam's going to lose that questionable tag right before the game tomorrow. They're going to clear him. He's going to be good to go, but he's got kind of a banged up knee. But I was kind of hoping for that Carter at 4,200 play. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. I was scrambling in season long, and I saw that, and nobody else had made a move. Sleeper didn't update their article yet, and I was hoping that it was going to come to fruition. And I mean, it still may, but it's trending towards Bam's at least going to be, on the active roster and supposed to play. Who knows how much he will?
Yeah. Well, Tom from DSF Hero says that he likes Trey Tucker. Dr. Rhoda says he likes Bam. So I don't know what I'm going to do there. We're going to figure it out. But let's get into our sheet. Let's get into what we're doing, shall we?
Let's do it.
I like it. All right. So here is the magical sheet. It has won us money more often than not this year. It's doing pretty well. We had one real banging week. I think the second week we did the show, which was fantastic. And last week was pretty good. I mean, I think I tripled up what I put in, which anytime you can more than double up is a good week in my mind.
Yeah, it was 3 or 4x my entries and a couple of small single entries that I did. And as you mentioned, we were on the right pieces overall. But yeah, I would consider it a good week. And I'm a big fan of positive or negative regression when it comes to players and fantasy points and all that stuff. I think our negative regression happened a couple of weeks ago, and we're getting back to the mean the rest of this year. So
I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, let's talk about these quarterbacks here. I mean, Josh Allen makes the list pretty much every time he's in the main field. The guy can put up 40 on his own. You can play him solo. You can play him with his running back. You can play him with Shakir. You can play him with Kincaid when he's healthy. I tend to play him naked, as I say, Justin. I tend to play him all by himself because you never know who he's going to throw the ball to. He throws the ball to probably 13 different targets every single week. And he also likes to steal those goal line runs away from James Cook. So $7,500 is the highest guy on the market this week, but that's okay with me. I think that he was in my first build. He's in my danger family build as I sit here and tinker it away into last place again. But there's no reason to look anywhere else. You can just put Josh Allen in.
You can. Almost any week you can play Josh Allen, and he's going to pay off his salary. It just matters, what did that extra $2,000 or so above the cheaper guys, maybe more, cost you elsewhere. But yeah, Josh Allen, dual threat, super talented. takes over the game when he needs to. Maybe a little too much recently with some scramble fumbles and some weird stuff, but super great talent. I think I tried to pick Shakir. Maybe Coleman was out like 2 weeks ago, and I tried to pick Shakir, and it was, 5 other guys, not Shakir. So I agree with you. It is tough to pick somebody to pair with Allen. If anybody, I think you can go Kincaid when he's healthy almost any week. But we'll talk about a receiver for him a little later. I don't know how well that bodes, but yeah, it's 7,500. I don't always have expensive guys on this, but great matchup and his talent. A lot of low Vegas totals. I'm pretty sure it's 45.5 for that game, and that is the highest, I'm pretty sure, on the main slate. Yeah, 45.5. So plenty of opportunity there.
Well, we're missing a lot of bangers, man. They played on Thanksgiving. They played last night. We missed a huge chunk of our main fantasy players. So we're grasping at straws in a few places here. But, I see your cheap guys there. I applaud you from not having a Vikings quarterback in there finally. I appreciate that. However, you put, a real loser in Trevor Lawrence in this thing. So we'll get back to that in a minute. But, looking at the other plays on the slate, Josh Allen is not only the most expensive, highest projected ceiling, but also highest projected ownership. We don't care so much about that here. Next one down, Justin Herbert. You can think of ways for him to fail. You can think that, the running back game could be good against Vegas. You could think it'd actually be kind of a lower point scoring game. There's lots of things that can go weird with Justin Herbert. Matthew Stafford's in a great spot. However, we haven't seen a whole lot from Mr. Williams lately. And, this could be a game that Williams takes over against Carolina, whose run defense is sometimes decent and sometimes the worst in the league. Who we're going to get this week, I don't know. You got Baker Mayfield hurt. You got Jacoby Brissett. He's been pretty good. I'm actually a little shocked he's not on your sheet here. Maybe because, I don't know. I'll let you think about why. Well, I'll let you answer that. You got Daniel Jones with a broken leg. You got CJ Stroud all banged up and playing. There's just kind of garbage on this list. We love our Brock Purdy. We're both 49ers fans, but they're playing in terrible weather. So I can kind of see what you're going with here. CJ Stroud made my article this week over at drroto.com. I know where you're going with Trevor Lawrence. Look, I have done well this year, my friend, playing the anyone against Tennessee game. Is that why we're there? Is that why your sheet says Trevor Lawrence?
Well, and I'm not a huge fan of him either, and I may get flack for this, but I kind of feel like my sentiment on him and Herbert are similar. And, we've seen them have flashes of being good, but I'm just not so convinced that they're really as good as their reputation had preceded them. But yes, I agree. I think it comes down to just not a lot of super enticing options. The team total for them is up there too, in the top 3 or 4 or so for Jacksonville, that is, against a team that, let's face it, is not going to give them too much of a hard time. They should be able to do whatever they want, whether on the ground or through the air. And the matchup, they give it up to quarterbacks in the top 5 or so. $5,400 is the main leader into why he's there as well.
Let me ask you this, though. On the other side, is it possible that Cam Ward finally has a little breakout against Jacksonville? Kymir DK pops in a couple of my models. I actually thought maybe we'd see him on your cheap play today, but I like John Mechie a lot. A lot of people are talking about him this week. 3,800 is almost a lock. But at 4,600, any love at all for Cam Ward, or am I just out of my mind?
No, I don't think you're out of your mind. For what it's worth, I wanted Cam Ward to do well. I don't think he's had a great offense around him. Wide receivers going up and down. He put up 24 points last week. They're always almost always going to be chasing. So, he has talent. He can run and throw. Not a great offense, though. They're always going to be in a game script that favors them. So there's lots of pros and cons. So I don't think you're too crazy for wanting to play him. But He is about middle of the pack as far as my sheet goes.
Sure. What's up, Hollywood? This is where I'm at, Justin. I'm at Josh Allen, and if I'm playing 20 lineups, I'm probably playing Josh Allen in 18, 17 of them. And if I'm not playing Josh Allen, I'm going sub 5,000. So I like Tyler Shuck. I think he's totally fine. I think Miami can run away with this game. So I think he's going to have to throw a ton. Kamara's missing the game. Neal was banged up a little bit last week. So they might have like literally zero running game, which actually might be a worry for Tyler because we might see more of that stinking Taysom Hill in there to ruin things for us. But there's a couple other guys I like down there. My tipsy pick of the week in my article at drroto.com this week was Tua. Tua at 4,900. Now, hear me out. They like to check down to A-Chain all the time, right? Like all the time. Let's say Devon gets 2 touchdowns. Let's say one of them comes through the air. That's great. Waddle's got a choice matchup, even though he's not on your list. I might argue with you about that later. But
yes.
Waddle, got a good matchup. Maybe Tua throws 2 touchdowns, gets 1 to Waddle, gets 1 to Achane. He's at 4,900. And mind you, the New Orleans defense actually kind of put a hold on Bijan last week.
Yes, so I think as far as Waddle, we could get there later. And this bodes actually in favor of you considering Tua. The uncertainty with Waller and his injury. He was been activated off the IR. High chance he's playing this week, which bodes well for Tua, but takes something away from Waddle, I think. Some could say that it takes some attention away, but it definitely takes targets away from Waddle.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get to wide receivers later. But, I mean, I'm a fan of Tua. He's a slinger. The more he throws to Achane, the more success that offense has. And then you got to watch those short passes and screens, which makes the linebackers and cornerbacks kind of creep up, which opens stuff mid-range and deep, and he's not afraid to throw it. So not on the list, but I could see Tua having a game, especially if Waller is even close to as healthy as he has been, and gives them a good red zone threat too, as well as Achane and Waddle being able to move the ball up and down the field.
Can't agree more. All right, so let's talk about Matt Stafford, the magical 40-year-old Matt Stafford throwing 4 touchdowns a game. I actually really thought I'd see him on this list. I thought I'd see Josh Allen, and I thought that I'd see Matt Stafford and then a bunch of scrubs. And I was pretty close. I got Josh Allen and a bunch of scrubs. Why no Stafford?
Well, he projects to be the top 3 quarterback as far as points go, but $7K for Stafford. I don't know if I remember a time when Stafford was 7,000 in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he's got great receivers, middle of the road matchup. They're huge favorites, though. So you mentioned Kyron earlier. If they haven't done this, but if they do what at least I think they should, is get the lead, lean on the run, and not have to throw the ball as much. But that hasn't been the case in games. I thought that was going to be true. Stafford's thrown 3-4 touchdowns. So I could see it, but I think, as you mentioned or alluded to, Kyron's going to be a little heavier involved. There'll be less passes, therefore less fantasy points for Stafford. And 7K is a pretty high price tag for a guy who does not run at all.
It also seems like that team's been flying so high. Now, there's no basis in reality of this, Justin, but sometimes you see these teams just kind of kicking ass and then fly out east for a cupcake game and it becomes a trap game.
Yeah, no, I mean, traveling across the country is definitely something that plays into it. I mentioned regression earlier, too. I mean, he's had a couple of down games, but even in his good to great games, I mean, mid to high 20s or so. I mean, he had a 30 earlier in the year. 7K, you need 21 at least. You'd like to get 28. And, I just think that the other guys can pay off their salary and lead you more towards getting this overall score you need, not just a score from quarterback.
All right, fair enough. I won't beat you up anymore about your quarterbacks. You listed 4. Who was number 5 on your list? I gotta know.
Yeah, so Herbert was just off. Brissett was just off.
It almost seems like maybe they should just cut Kyler Murray and let Brissett be the guy for further notice. Just cut him.
Yeah, I
Just cut him.
mean, for more than just this season, I mean, Kyler has been fun to watch run around on the field and entertaining, but as far as winning football games and stuff, I don't know about it. But yes, the best matchup I have on the week for Brissett. Perhaps getting Marvin Harrison Jr. back. I haven't looked into it, but I feel pretty confident he's going to play. I mean, I was a little. I mean, $5,800. His price is correct, but I still don't think it's too far out of reach. But yeah, I think he's in a good spot. But yeah, and Herbert was just on the bubble as well. $6,500. No run game. Tons of people to throw it to. Wide receivers, multiple wide receivers, and tight end. So I mean, can't go wrong there.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a comment from Corey in the house. We'll get to wide receivers in a little bit, but in case you aren't here, I'd like to address this. I actually like Jaden Higgins quite a bit this week. I think he's 3,900 on DraftKings. As a sneaky, probably not. He's going to end up being probably the 5th or 6th highest owned guy of the week. So not so sneaky, but I still love him at 39, and he's probably going to make some lineups of mine because he's been averaging double-digit PPR points for the last several weeks, Justin.
Yeah, but that has not been from Stroud. So I drafted Higgins in season long. Did not get any production out of him the first couple of weeks, and I was like, okay, that's fine. He's a rookie, and it never came. And then I moved on from him, and Stroud goes out, and Davis Mills comes in and gets Higgins heavily involved. And now Davis Mills is not starting. Stroud is. I don't know if Stroud keys in on him as much as you would like. Cheap price, under 4K, or I don't know his exact price, but a fine dart throw. But we need the data says that Stroud's not going to get him the ball as much as we would like.
Yep, 3,900 is his price there. He also brings up DK, which I brought up just a few minutes ago if you weren't listening. So I like him too. And there's been some chatter in the Dr. Roder Discord about him this week. What I like about him, and it's not something you can predict, and it's not something we do in single entry, because these single entry, we're really looking for sure things. But I like him because he's also a threat to return a kick for a touchdown. And if he does that, he skyrockets up for you.
Yeah, and I also think there's a chance Ayo Manor, maybe someone knows otherwise, but he might not be playing this week. So targets. So probably not an unpopular opinion, but if you're asking Higgins or DK, I'd probably lean DK.
Yeah, and I got DK ceiling of about 15 points in my projections. I always look at ceiling points just because, which isn't bad. It's top 25. And for that price is pretty good. And, you know, let's see. I think I watched him on one of my lineups this year, Justin, return one to like the 3-yard line. And man, that pisses you off because you get no points for yardage. You only get points for the touchdown.
Yeah.
Frustrating. All right. One more. Steve Gardner here wants to know who's Trevor is putting the kibosh on. It was like 5 straight weeks. Trevor's lock of the week completely busted, which is hilarious because Trevor does very well. One of the best DFS players I've ever run across. He's won over $150,000 this year alone. He's absolutely crushing it. But yes, on this show, the person he said is his lock for 5 straight weeks busted. And maybe that's why he didn't answer today. Justin, what do you think?
Well, I think he used up all his juice on that 100K hit a few weeks ago. I think that was around about the same time. But yeah, so some of his plays that he's had a lock on.
And they were smart plays.
They were there for a reason, exactly.
They were on your sheet. Yeah. They were smart plays. It
just didn't pan out. That's DFS for you.
Steve Gardner says, nasty weather in New York tomorrow.
I saw rain. That's the Jets and Atlanta. Yeah, no wind, but definitely going to rain. And then I saw really bad weather in Cleveland. But
Damn. Well, let's get into that, sir. I noticed that Bijan Robinson is missing from your list. What's the deal with that?
I still think I'm mad at him for the 1 week I did play him, and he did not do anything. No, I'm just kidding. I try to keep that bias out of it. Let's see. Yep. So, I mean, a small favorite. One of the lower scoring games on the week. Pretty good matchup though. No London. We've seen no London before. I don't really remember exactly what unfolded, but my memory wants to tell me that that was the week I decided to play him because I thought that he would have more opportunity in the passing game and just overall, and it did not pan out that way. And I think take away the number one receiver, it's less focus you got to put on the receiving core, whether it be Pitts or Mooney or whoever's the pass catchers, and can stack the box a little bit more, maybe put an extra eye or an extra guy on Bijan.
No, absolutely. He is still probably one of my favorite plays. The issue I have is wanting to play Josh Allen, wanting to play Seattle's defense, wanting to play some of these guys is, making me want to play down a little bit. So Jonathan Taylor, obviously a guy that can, probably has the highest odds for 3 touchdowns in the game every single week outside of Christian McCaffrey. Devon Achane, well, I mean, we talked about him already kind of with the quarterbacks. It is on paper an excellent matchup for him. He's got the number one. He's the only guy with a ceiling rank over 30 points. And over at DFS Hero, our favorite little sim site over there, he has the highest boom percentage chance according to their simulations. I mean, I like him a lot. My only concern with that is they held Bijan to 70 yards last week. No touchdowns for Bijan last week. So I don't know. I mean, they're in Miami, not New Orleans. Everything in my system tells me Devon Achane's the number one play of the week, Justin. But let me tell you this for Steve Gardner.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor texted me today and said he's playing all Devon Achane. He's playing all Abuka.
I'm gonna have to ride or die with him. I think on Achane. I mean, home, great matchup. Almost a touchdown favorite. Passing work, not priced as the number one projection, but is the number one projection. Huge or decent gap there.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna have to roll with that one. Abuka we could talk about later, but not mad at that one.
Right. Genty pops in all of my models. The problem with that is every time he pops in my models, he does not pop in real life. The 1 week I did not play him, he put up like 27. Breece Hall's popped in every single model every single week all year long. I think he's hit twice. But decent matchup against Atlanta. I like these guys. And then Kenneth Walker is being disrespected at 5,300. I mean, I realize he hasn't done a ton and he splits the ball a lot with his cohort Charbonnet over there. But I don't know, man. At home, Minnesota, whose offense is going to do nothing. I don't know. Is it just the sharing that they're discounting him? Because 5,300 just felt low. I felt like it should have been 58 to 6. 53 felt really low.
I agree, and I think that's why he's popping so much. I mean, Walker and Charbonnet have been splitting that backfield more or less most weeks. I was super hype about Walker coming into the year. I thought they would give him the majority of the carries. It did not work out that way. Charbonnet had a few weeks of injury, and Walker went nuts a couple of times. Charbonnet came back, and they went back to splitting. But I'm pretty sure that split has slowly grown.
Mm-hmm.
Walker's been getting more and more of the volume, both running and catching passes. I don't really like that the model threw him in there. Price is cheap. It just scares me. I hate playing, let's just assume playing Walker and then seeing Charbonnet run in or catch a touchdown. But 5,300 is very cheap for somebody who is at least going to get 60% of the carries in a game they're going to be way ahead in. Hopefully he's going to get more than 60% of the running back touches. But
well,
yeah,
I'll tell you this:
super
the DFS hero sim Justin's got Charbonnet at a 3.4 floor and Walker at a 10.1 floor. They've got Walker at a 21 ceiling and Charbonnet only at a 13 ceiling. So they really think Walker's getting the majority this week.
So for what it's worth, there's a certain threshold that players don't even make my spreadsheet if their points aren't there. Charbonnet's not on it. Mm-hmm. When I saw Walker come up to the top when I ran it, I literally started researching. I was like, okay, Charbonnet's out. Why is Charbonnet missing? And he's not. And I was like, well, wait a minute. And started doing some research into the split back there. And it seems like that's the case. It's been growing and should grow in a game they're going to be up. So, I mean, you got to trust the data, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas just absolutely loves Kenneth Walker. Just absolutely loves him this week. So, I don't know. I think I'm in. And you know I like the 4 o'clock games.
Yeah, there you go. That does bode well for you.
I like it. I got Josh Allen and Kenneth Walker at 4 o'clock. Smash for
Lock
me.
in 50 points.
I like Genty. I like Hall. I mean, I like these guys. They're just fine. I don't know that I have anybody else missing. I mean, we can talk about Kyron Williams missing. We can talk about Stafford missing from your list. I think both of them were probably pretty close. I mean, every time I play Kyron, it seems to be a 12-point game and not a 27-point game. That's a big problem. That's just a personal issue. I don't see a whole lot. I mean, the model loves Kamani Vidal. Loves him.
Yeah.
Hampton's still going to miss. One more.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry.
Great weeks.
I keep cutting you off. I apologize. But yeah, Vidal, Haskins, there was some confusion there. I chose one week. I chose it right. I'm not going to press my luck and go back with that. Plus, I think that's just going to be a majority throwing game, even though they're not super big dogs. But yeah, I would stay away from Vidal personally for me.
Well, there's 3 staff favorite or simulation favorite plays on DFS Hero at running back, and it's Bijan, it's Genty, it's Vidal. Missing from their list and very high on my list. Where did he go? Oh, where did he go? There he is. Sorry, I had to scroll. He was in a weird spot for me. At 6,500, Travis Etienne. I just feel like if everyone's going to continue to beat up on Tennessee, Jacksonville has really focused in on the run the last few weeks. Why not Etienne?
No, I definitely agree that that's a good spot to be a running back for Jacksonville this week. But ETN 16, 15, 19, and 20 is super good. But I think at any moment, Tootin could take something away from that. And the split thing has been very popular in the NFL, some of last year, this year for sure. And I just try to avoid it when I can. Every time I've seemed to guess on one, I always get it wrong. But yeah, I mean, ETN's definitely coming into the year, weren't really sure if he was going to be the guy. Bigsby got traded, some word around Tootin, and ETN has delivered, and he's got a good matchup with almost a touchdown favorite. He's not on the bubble per se. He's about middle of the pack, but I could see him having success.
How about biggest total on the week, James Cook? Where's James Cook?
James Cook. So on the bubble, let's just say, Christian McCaffrey in the weather game, $9,300. They're not going to be able to throw it a ton, I don't think. Don't need to. He gets all the touches. Neal at 5K also was on the bubble. But at 5K, not paying 300 extra bucks for Walker feels crazy. Bijan and Cook. So if I gave you 5, they were 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah. I don't think I have any more questions here. We got another comment here. I'm not sure who this is. Maybe they can enlighten us, but not the father, perhaps, is what that's supposed to say. Fellas, I'm in your weekly DK tournament, and I'm rolling Bryce Young, Tet Puka.
I don't mind Tet this week. I feel like there was some weather in that game. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I mean a little bit, no wind. So yeah, nothing to worry about as far as fantasy goes. I mean, I'm not on it, but I couldn't fault. Bryce Young's been showing poise and getting better. Tet's a great young wide receiver. Puka was the number 1 receiver for 7, 8 weeks, and now I think they swapped jerseys, him and Devonta Adams. So definitely a lot that could go right there.
I can agree. Any more notes on running backs before we run over to the wide receiver?
No, I think we covered it all.
I like it. All right. Speaking of Puka and Adams, we have had Adams on this sheet quite a few times this year, and I noticed that he's missing. Is this just time to be a Puka game, or is there some data that I'm missing that says we should pay up and not play Devonta?
Yeah, so one of the things that hurts Devonta Adams in my sheet is that he loses ground to other people similarly priced. So he's projected to be in one spot, but his dollar says he's going to be in a different spot. And also the cornerback matchup I had pulled up, but was not favorable for Adams as much as it was Puka. And more often than not, that usually plays out at least some small percentage of lean for one receiver over the other. But I mean, Adams catching multiple touchdowns, his price has crept up. He's $7,500, which compared to Puka's not a lot, but compared to the field, $7,500 is a lot for a quote unquote number 2 wide receiver.
No, sure is. I mean, he's been kind of number 1 wide receiver the last few weeks, but
yeah, hence the quote unquote. But yes,
yeah, I like it. All right, you got Nico Collins. I mean, we don't have to talk about Jackson Smith. Come on, he just crushes every single week. He's absolutely incredible. If you can afford him, play him. You got Nico Collins. You got to return to Stroud in your quarterback sheet. You've got Nico Collins there. Are you disrespecting a little bit of Sauce Gardner and the improved Indianapolis defense that didn't really improve the first couple of weeks with Sauce?
Yeah, so not disrespecting it. I don't think he's going to shadow Collins per se, but I do think that he's a good DB and going to provide some excitement when they line up against each other, if nothing else. But Stroud has proved not just this year or years prior, but this year also that he don't mind getting Collins the game. We know Collins has got double-digit target ceiling, can catch touchdowns, big receiver, can also has a large depth of target. In a game they're probably going to be chasing to Indy, I would guess, with not a great running game. So I definitely like Collins here.
Yeah, I don't mind Collins at all. Like you said, there's no running game there. You might as well just chuck the ball. I mean, we've seen Higgins step up. Knowles had a couple of good games when why did I just blank on their tight end? Schultz. When Schultz is healthy, they seem to have a pretty good connection. So I could see it happening. Now you got Tet McMillan on there next. Our guy here says, garbage time Panthers trying to cling to playoff hopes. Yeah, I mean, very well could be. Could be a lot of garbage time there. I mean, LA's been absolutely on fire. If they get up to a 21-7 lead early, you could absolutely just see them slinging the ball and kind of forgetting about the run game. So it's possible. I see you do have a Josh Allen receiver on here in Khalil Shakir.
Yeah, I hated having to put one. The week that I played Shakir, he was not the guy. But, more often than not, he has been 7+ targets, I think. Week 11, he had 3 targets. That's the week that I played him against Tampa Bay. Otherwise, he's had 10, 9, 8, 7. Before their bye, he had 1, 9, and a couple less. I do think he's the most trusted receiver there, and a good matchup for wide receivers. I didn't look at his cornerback matchup per se, but in a game that's going to be probably one of the highest scoring teams on the slate with Josh Allen at quarterback, I'm willing to take one more time at least and put my stamp on Shakir as being the leading receiver for them.
I'm into it. I think it's a good play. Let's talk about Keenan Allen here. So Keenan Allen actually projects in the simulation to have the lowest score between him and Ladd and Quentin. Now Ladd's more expensive at 63. That's significantly more expensive. And Quentin Johnson's actually cheaper at 49. But man, 2 out of the last 4 weeks he put up a donut.
Yeah, I think he's done that almost more often than not. I'd have to go back and check, but he's definitely more the ceiling play, I guess you'd say. Let's see. I do have Ladd slightly projected higher than Keenan Allen, but he's also $1,300 more dollars. And for just a couple of points, I don't think it's worth paying for.
So I was stretching to try to get Ladd in my early lineups. I like him a lot. It's a great matchup for him. But you've been really good at picking between these 3 wide receivers, and seeing Keenan Allen on your list makes me maybe think to go back down to Keenan Allen and save that $1,300.
Yeah, and when I was just putting some random lineups together, trying to see what was fitting or whatnot, that 5K fell in perfectly there towards the end of my choices. So it made it a lot easier to choose that. And for what it's worth, I think there was 1 week I couldn't decide, and I just put Chargers receivers. I don't remember what ended up being the result, but I tried not to plant my stamp, especially on the Chargers, with all 3 of those guys, unless I feel pretty confident in it.
And Gadsden.
Yeah, and I think what matters is their price right, is their projection right, is their matchup right, and if all that lines up, then I will have one guy come to the top. Not that I'm hand selecting these people, just the data is pointing that way.
Right on. Ladd's going to be hard for me to get off of because he's averaging almost like 15, 16 points a game, and Keenan Allen's only like 8 or 9 the last 4 weeks. No worries. Oh, Trevor chimed in, by the way. He's at the Minnesota Wild game. That's why he is not here tonight.
Nice.
But I already told everybody he's in on a chance. So if Devon fails this week, we just got to kick Trevor off the show. I'm just saying. We just got to throw him out.
There's entertainment value there, too, that he brings.
Absolutely love it. Alec Pierce, $4,800. He is in a very good spot. I think you're going to see Pittman kind of get most of the coverage for Houston. So I kind of like this throw. Let's see. What does Vegas have? Vegas has their team at 24 points. So that's one of the higher team totals of the week. It's got to go somewhere. It could all be Jonathan Taylor.
This is true. I did before the bye. Alec Pierce had some pretty good games. His depth of targets crazy. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing him drop a long one last week as well. That could have made his week serviceable too. So even though his 1 for 2 for 26, 3.6 fantasy point box score don't look great, I'm pretty sure he was, a fingertip away from another bomb that may even have been a touchdown.
Close. I like Pierce. They've got a good connection there. Let's talk about John Mechie. I wrote him in my article. He's been playing great football for the Jets while Wilson has been sidelined. He looks to have taken their number 1 receiver spot for targets for them. And at $3,800, it's hard to be upset. Atlanta's not great in the back end. I'm not mad at that at all. He might make quite a lot of my lineups because I was kind of on Higgins, but you know how I do actually fade a little bit of ownership, and Higgins going to be very well owned, and I kind of think they're the same upside play. So I'll take the guy less owned. But I like it. Anybody not on the list you want to chit chat about? Does Marvin Harrison coming back, really change Michael Wilson, or does Michael Wilson prove that he needs the targets and that connection that he's made with Brissett? Because he's been really good the last 3 weeks.
He has. I remember before Harrison's injury, I think I played Harrison either on a bet or in a DFS slate a week or two in a row. And I remember watching Michael Wilson get targets, and even before anybody was really paying attention. And I was like, why is this guy getting the targets and not Marvin Harrison? And I even think that was pre-Brissett also. But, I do think it's going to hurt Michael Wilson, but it's going to help the team, and it's going to help Marvin Harrison Jr. in my mind when he returns.
Yeah, I think that Brissett's really got it timed up with Wilson, really got it timed up with McBride. I'm not expecting Marvin Harrison to come in and do the numbers immediately all by himself that Wilson was doing. I think Wilson's earned the looks, especially with Brissett. So I don't know. I'm going to have to see him play, right? I guess we're going to see him play.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Week 9, the Dallas game, and Week 10, the Seattle game, those were both Brissett games, right? And he's the one who started Harrison's uptrend and the excitement prior to his injury. So he does have a rapport with Michael Wilson over the past few weeks because he's had to, but I think he'll be excited to get Marvin Harrison Jr. back out there too.
All right. You told me you would tell me why Jalen Waddle, who is one of my top ranked guys, number 4 on the optimal plays for wide receivers at DFS Hero, is not on your list.
He is the first person to not get put on the list. So that makes him on the bubble. However, I did state it earlier that I think the projections for DFS Hero or any site don't have it baked in that Waller is going to be impactful because they were uncertain about that. It is a middle of the road matchup. Waller's coming back. Likely Waller's going to be back. It's going to take some targets from him. That's why I'm not super high on Waddle, although he is the first guy not on this list.
All right, fair. And then the aforementioned Emeka Egbuka, who Trevor would bring up, saying that he is on his list, is the next guy down on the optimal play at DFS Hero. So it's Puka, it's JSN, Nico Collins, Waddle, Emeka Egbuka. Then it's Tet McMillan, then Chris Olave, Devontae Adams, and the name we said we'd never say again, DK Metcalf.
Yeah, so I said Waddle was the first guy off the sheet. Mitchell is there at $3,600, but then you have the same people you just mentioned: Egbuka, Olave, Marvin Harrison, Higgins, DK. Not DK Metcalf, but Jameer DK.
Gotcha. All right. Olave is just that guy that just collects targets. Sometimes he does nothing with them. Sometimes I've seen him have 14 targets and 6 catches for 50 yards.
Yeah, I agree. He's got a pretty decent floor because of that. When I say decent floor, 10, 12 points, which isn't bad. I know he's questionable. I'm not really sure how serious it is. But no Kamara, which I don't know affects him very much. But yeah, I'm not on Olave. He's done me dirty in the past. He's questionable. So, and he didn't make the sheet. So I don't have to worry about that.
Done you dirty. I notice Justin Jefferson continues to never be on our sheet until he gets a quarterback.
Yeah, and is he going to get a quarterback this week?
My question is why didn't Minnesota call the Giants and say, what do you want for Winston right now?
Yeah, I agree. I think I saw a funny meme where Winston should just be like an all-time quarterback. He's not a part of any. Yeah, exactly. Just because he's so entertaining, he gets it done. Yeah. I didn't play him last week, and unfortunately, and then watching him go nuts, passing the ball, catching a touchdown, doing the Heisman, Yeah,
Hilarious.
it was tough to swallow, but I do like Winston as a person and as a DFS player.
Honestly, I think Minnesota would have tried to do something if it not for the fact that the Bears are tied for the best record in football. The Packers are a half game behind them, and the Lions' schedule maybe gets easier. There's no way Minnesota climbs out of this hole. They're just not going to do it. So I don't blame them for not spending money, to be honest.
Well, and I mean, I'm excited for somebody new to get back there, but I'm also not excited at their ability to browse quarterback talent. So,
right. Are you feeling like Justin Jefferson is just the next Megatron, just this all-world talent stuck on a team that can just never put it together?
I mean, yeah. I mean, we've obviously seen what he's capable of when he has someone that can put the ball on him. His catch radius is crazy. His speed's crazy. He can, do everything. He's had tons of bad throws to him deep down the field with McCarthy. I think even just the change in quarterback is going to ignite some type of life in him. It's just, is it going to fizzle out because that quarterback's not talented or not? We'll see.
Well, if you want to take a shot on him, I believe that his ownership is hovering at around 3.5%. If anybody wants to take that shot in a big tournament, but it's not going to be me. All right, buddy, let's move over to the tight ends. Trey McBride, he has now hit that price point for me that I'm probably out. It is now Puka and JSN, and then the next most expensive pass catcher on the entire slate is Trey McBride at 7,800. He's gotten it done every week with Jacoby Brissett. Every single stinking week, he's gotten it done. But he jumped, what was he last week? 65?
I believe so, yeah.
He jumped all the way to 78.
He was 68. So it went up $1,000.
68 to 78. I mean, that is absolutely huge. And on the optimal chart over at DFS Hero, he's dropped all the way down to number 6. And he's been number 1 for a while now.
Well, unfortunately, he's still number 1 on my tight end sheet, which typically does not like expensive tight ends, but it still does. He's priced as a number 1 receiver. He wasn't priced as a number 1 receiver even at 6,800. And I don't know that he is the number 1 receiver. At least for one more week, he may be until Marvin Harrison gets solidified. And I'm not saying Harrison's going to overtake him as that, or Michael Wilson has overtaken him in that in the long term. But I think it just gets a little muddier. Can he still produce, and will he still produce? Yes, but $7,800 is a lot of money to pay for it.
It is a lot. It sure is. I like Brock Bowers. The model likes Brock Bowers. Gadsden's number 1 optimal tight end over at the DFS Hero. Which, by the way, you can put promo code DOC in there and get 20% over there. Just throwing that out there. Kyle Pitts is number 3. I mean, these names are popping pretty good. You got Schultz and then Warren over there, and it pretty much follows exactly what you've got here. And then my favorite tight end play of the week in my article was Colby Parkinson at $2,800. He's been averaging almost double-digit points, and 10 points out of $2,800 is what you want.
Yeah, no, that's real nice. I wish I'd looked this split up before, but the games that London missed, what did Pitts do in them? And I'm hoping, and I have hoped since Pitts came into the league, that he would show out for what he's capable of doing, or at least I think he is. So I like Pitts a lot. Not DFS or fantasy points related, but I do agree. Colby Parkinson, $2,800 is super cheap. All of these guys above him, 4,300 and up, they all have middle of the road matchups. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 top 6 guys don't have a matchup in the top 10 for tight ends. The next 4 do, with, hold your seat, Gunnar Helm for Tennessee, Schultz, AJ Barner, and Fanning, all 2 and 3K guys. So a part of me wants to deviate from the sheet, but I'm not going to. But I just thought it was interesting that the top 6 guys, none of them have great tight end matchups this week.
Yeah, not really. I am a play cheap tight end guy for the most part, except for when I've had money for McBride.
Yeah.
So basically, it's been McBride or punt, pretty much all season long. I like Schultz a lot too. I actually like George Kittle. I don't know that I'll come up with 5,300, and if I did, Warren's probably a better play. Bowers is probably a better play on both sides. But Kittle somehow gets it done kind of in these sloppy games.
I think other than McCaffrey, he will be the biggest beneficiary from the weather. Yeah. Kittle, that is.
I can't agree more. All right. We still managed to hit 50 minutes with just you and me before we get to our life.
No.
I thought we'd go quicker without Trevor tonight, but
I thought we would too.
That didn't happen. Let's round this up, seeing I got to catch a flight at 6 o'clock in the morning, as long as it doesn't get canceled. Looks the Fort Lauderdale flight got canceled. The Miami hasn't yet, so we'll see what happens. But let me open up a spot. I wasn't ready. I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, no, go for it. I'm doing the same thing as well. And it will be interesting for me and you to go back and forth putting this together. Not that Trevor's picks have been a problem, but it's just two minds compared to 3, and trying to appease everybody and make sure we all agree.
No, that's true. That's true. I don't know where we're going to be in agreement, to be honest here. I like Devon Achane quite a bit. I also like Kenneth Walker quite a bit at 53. I think that, if you ask me, the number one optimal play on the entire field, I run 2 different sites sims. They both agree. He's on your sheet. Trevor likes him. I like him. I think it just has to be Devon Achane. And if it burns us again, Justin, I don't know what else to do here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with all that. He's also the best pound for pound, if you will, play on my sheet as well.
He's project for the highest score on the slate for running backs, and he's the 4th highest priced. It's hard to not go ahead and take that savings, even though 8,300 doesn't feel like savings, but it is.
Yeah, I mean, and a guy who can run the ball, break big plays, and catch passes. I think we plug him in.
I think we kind of have to. I mean, we can mess with that later if we decide we like other higher priced guys. What about you? What's got to be a lock for you? What are you feeling great about?
I think we're gonna need to save a little bit of money.
Steve says thanks for telling him who Trevor's pick was. He's going with Taylor instead.
Right. Yeah. I don't think Achane's gonna bust this week. I just feel it. But if it does, boy, will we have something to talk about.
Well, I'll be in Miami, so I'll go down there and
There you go.
I'll go down there and tell him what's up.
I'm not so sure if it should concern me, but the volume and the price, I think we plug in Mechie. And when I say concern me, I mean the rain. It's only a 20% chance, low winds. So let's take some salary savings with Mechie at wide receiver.
Yeah, I don't mind Mechie at all. I mean, he's been getting it done. He's been absolutely getting it done. Yeah, I mean, let's see. We got Mechie. We got Nico. I'm really tempted to go Nico and talk you into Stroud to just see how it plays out for us, to be honest.
I don't think you'd have to talk me into it.
Yeah. Let's start with that. Let's go Nico, and if you don't mind, we'll just throw Stroud in there.
Yeah, I like it.
All right.
And then I mean, I guess it's pretty. I think we go Walker at 5,300 for the other running back slot.
Well, we're gonna have a lot of money to play with. We're gonna have a lot of money to play with here. If we don't do Trey McBride and we go down, and put any of these guys in, even if we decide to go double stack with Schultz, who's not on your list, I know, but we're gonna have some money to play with, friends.
Yeah, I do agree. It's on you technically, so I'll defer.
I'd say what? Let's go Parkinson. Let's go 2 cheap punt plays. And just we'll mess around with it afterwards, but we're gonna have a lot of money to play with that.
All right. Well, I will see your 2 cheap punt plays and give you one more that we likely will go up from. But let's put the Titans in at defense.
Yeah, it's so easy to get to the Seahawks. So easy.
Yes. 79.50 wide receiver and flex.
Holy cow. We can play anyone. We can play everyone.
So let's see.
Well, we already played Walker, so that tends to lead me away from JSN.
Agreed.
Is it the Puka week? Is he back? The problem is that 9,000, man, for the last 3 games, 16.7, 15.3, 17.4.
What are we talking about? Puka. Yeah,
Puka.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I think that's his floor. I would lean not playing Puka this week.
Mm-hmm.
Not because so much Adams has been taken so much away, but I think the cross country travel is they should be smarter and grind the game with Kyron, especially since, let's see how many carries he's had. Yeah, 12, 12, and 14 rushes in his last 3 games. Quote unquote fresh, you would think. I mean, that's a pretty low average over the last 3 games for him. So I would stay away from Puka. What's another pay up option we want to look at?
We could swap out Parkinson and just put McBride in. We could flex in Jonathan Taylor. See what happens. If we flex in Jonathan Taylor, we have 6,100 for wide receiver.
I know we have, well, he's not on the sheet. Let's plug Taylor into let's move Walker to the flex and Taylor in the running back.
Of course.
And then let's look at it and see what we want to do. So that's HN, Taylor, and Walker. $6,100 for a wide receiver.
Or we swap out Parkinson, and that gives us $44.50 a piece for 2. Which means you could put Pitts in there. Options here, and then the 4,900 left, which lets you throw in Alex Pierce along with Indy, and then we have a super stack of the Indy Houston game, more or less.
So Stroud, Collins with Pierce. Who was the tight end you traded Parkinson for?
You could put Pitts in, or you could leave it at Parkinson. It gives us 6,100, which is exactly enough for Tet McMillan, which would make our boy Corey happy. Or was it not Corey? Who told us that they loved them? Not the father.
Yeah, not the father.
Yeah.
So let's just discuss it for what it's worth. Is Tet McMillan or who was the other guy?
Or we end up going down to Alex Pierce.
Yeah.
So is it Parkinson and Tet, or is it Pitts and Pierce?
I think it's Parkinson and Tet. Carolina's going to have to keep up. Even if the Rams are running the ball, they're going to be putting up points.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Then you got Parkinson and McMillan, skinny stack with each other. You got Collins and Stroud, quarterback receiver stack with the bring back for Taylor. Not that we try to do this correlation in these types of contests, but it always feels nice when it works out unintentionally.
But good games are good games.
Yeah.
Look, Taylor, I told you their team total is 24. And so 3 touchdowns and the field goal, and Taylor might get all 3 touchdowns.
100%. And he had a down week last week. people are not going to be looking to spend $9,800 for a guy that they look at who got 8.6 points. But if you look the last time he got single digit points, 7.7, he turned around and banged out 52. Not saying he's going to do that again, but I'm saying he's capable of. I like that when I'm looking at this. I like it. I think it's got a lot of upside in it.
Well, and you got a quarterback with a fractured fibula that can't take hits. So, you know, it might be a lot of handing off.
Yeah, I can't remember the article I read about him earlier and what they said.
And if anything happens to him and they put Anthony Richardson in, I mean, it's just going to be a handoff fest.
It should be. I'm not a fan of Richardson at all, but that's a different story.
Well, I think we'll call today, my friend.
Please do.
It's an hour.
On the nose.
Kind of on the nose here. So let me type it out here. We got Stroud. We got Achane. I got to spell it right. We got Achane. We got Taylor. Mechie. Collins. I feel a little bad about the double punt in here. A triple punt, really, when you count the Titans D. But any D, any day, really.
Yes. Yeah.
Collins, Parkinson, Walker, Titans.
Well,
it's a little riskier than we normally do, but if we get 40 out of Taylor and 35 out of Achane, we're happy.
Well, to be fair, Parkinson is the number one tight end who gets targets on arguably the best offense in the league. So that's not terrible. I feel a little less certain about Mechie, not because he hasn't been the number one receiver on the Jets for $3,800, but the weather may stifle his performance a little bit. But overall, I love the lineup, and I think he's got a good chance of being successful.
Well, let me look on there. If anybody out there is feeling, uncertain about that, you got, I don't know, Cal Austin right there that sometimes gets a lot of looks for a Pittsburgh team who's probably going to be hopefully behind for Buffalo, because I'm gonna have a lot of Josh Allen. I'm gonna play some lineups this week, and there's going to be a lot of Josh Allen, and so I hope they're a lot ahead. You got AD Mitchell in a good spot. There's a couple of places that if you feel like going down to,
you won't need to. This is the one.
This is the one. I dig it. Well, I thank you, my friend. Justin, you can check him out. You can see it on the graphic there in the top corner, Just D 2.0. You can look that up on Discord. It's free to join. Check it out in there. You can find me and all my stuff and all my staff over at drroto.com. I'm Johnny Danger. With me is Justin from Just DFS. We appreciate you all, and we will catch you next Saturday night.
One closing comment, if I may.
Yes, sir.
If Achane fails but Egbuka performs, is it us that's the problem and not Trevor?
I don't know. I think it's still Trevor, because he texted earlier and said it was Achane. So.
All right. Thanks.
All right. I'm going to see you next Saturday, sir, and hopefully with a tan, perhaps.
Enjoy.
All right. We'll see.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.